Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the MLC Collective. I did change my name, so yeah, it's no longer Caribbean King, it's now the MLC Collective. But for today's video, I want to talk about why men of color need to stop being social justice warriors. Because in a world where the social justice warrior mentality is rampant, men of color need to take a hard look at what they're really fighting for. And it's time to recognize that constantly advocating for every social cause under the sun is not only exhausting, but also counterproductive. So instead of being a shield for every marginalized group, us as men of color should focus on elevating ourselves and our own communities. And it's time to stop sacrificing personal progress on the altar of virtual signaling. So, first off, the SJW narrative often leans heavily on the notion of victimhood. Men of color, we have faced, societal obstacles, and I feel like we should be channeling our energy and self empowerment instead of playing the perpetual victim card. And this victim mentality creates an illusion of helplessness that undermines our potential. So, instead of being defined by our struggles, the struggles that we face, we should be breaking barriers and not reinforcing them. And it's time to stop crying injustice and start creating opportunities for ourselves. So, the SJW mentality fosters a culture of divisiveness rather than unity. By obsessing over microaggressions and perceived sites, men of color, us as men of color, we risk alienating potential allies within our own communities. And it's more productive to focus on shared experiences and common goals than to dissect every word and action for hidden offenses. And this obsession with identity politics can fracture relationships and create unnecessary animosity where solidarity is needed. And the social justice warrior movement often prioritize social media outrage over tangible change. So us as men of color, we need to realize that posting hashtags and ranting online does little to address real world issues. And instead of being keyboard warriors, we should be in our communities, organizing, mentoring, and affecting real change. And social media can be a powerful tool, but it shouldn't be a substitute for action. And it's time to move from an outrage to an impact. And the constant need to perform as an social justice warrior can lead to an identity crisis, because us as men of color, we can find ourselves caught in a cycle of expectations that don't reflect our true beliefs or values. And this performative activism often leads to inauthenticity, where individuals prioritize image over integrity. And it's essential for us as men of color to be true to ourselves and stand up for causes that generally resonate with us, and rather than succumbing to the pressure of the crowd. And the social justice warrior mindset can breed a culture of complacency. So by constantly seeking validation from the woke brigade, us as men of color, we may neglect the very real issues in our own lives. And we need to recognize that while social justice is important, it shouldn't come at the expense of our personal growth and ambitions. And it's time to prioritize self-development and community upliftment over ideological purity test. So, in conclusion, I feel like us as men of color need to step away from the social justice warrior mentality that is, bagging us down. And we should focus on self-empowerment, building authentic connections, and prioritize real change over performative activism. And by doing so, we can break free from the constraints of victimhood and rise to our full potential and create a more substantial impact in our communities and beyond. And the time for action is now, and it starts with redefining our narratives. It's like we need to stop playing the victim card, and instead of complaining 24/7, us as men of color need to start taking action instead of blaming other people for our issues. Anyways, what do you guys think?